Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Missouri Milestones, the podcast here on the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow. Guy Newcomb alongside Kent Mueller, and we go to Webb City, Missouri, and bring in friend of the show now.
Friend of the show.
Family of the show. Family.
Yeah.
You go back, Mikaela, to those interviews back when you were in high school at the Gerald Pills All-Star Games, and we are visiting with Mikaela Burgess, 2014 graduate of Webb City High School. Take us back to those high school days. What memories stand out, whether it be players you got to play with, coaches, players you got to play against? Take us back, and that's not that long ago. So take us
It's
back.
not that long ago, but it feels like it. And I don't know if just like memories stack on each other and then it just starts to get like I oftentimes wonder if I remember it really like it happened. Or I'll tell a story to my mom and dad and they're like, no, like this is actually who won that game or who did this but I mean, I think with all of my athletic experiences and the teams I've played on and the programs I've been a part of, it's always been just the people that I remember. Just the reality of it is the score. You can't remember what the score was. You can remember the big games you lost. Those ones sting. And you can remember the big ones you won, but it's just the people and the way that our lives have, stayed together and interwoven throughout the years since high school and keeping up with everybody. But yeah, it's funny to look. I do feel like it's been forever since I was in high school, even though it hasn't been. My 10-year reunion was last year, so we're getting up there.
Take us back to your freshman year. Did you come in right away and get to start? Do you remember that opportunity when you first were in that starting lineup?
I remember my freshman year. I had a wave of talent above me. So they were kind of known as the Fab Five. Were seniors. So there was Haley Roderick, Caitlin Jaeger, Kendall Clark, Sharenda Campbell. And they were all above me. They were all seniors. Very talented group. And then several juniors that contributed, a few sophomores. So I was the only freshman on the team. I remember I would walk into practice and they would all be warming up on one basket and I would be down on the other end by myself, just scared to death to interact or do anything. But both, in high school and college, I feel like I just had really, really strong positive leadership over me, which I think was a huge contributing factor to some of the success that I was able to have. Just because I always said I never wanted to be the best one on the team. So I want to be surrounded by talent. And I feel like I definitely had that privilege in high school, coming in and just seeing talent right before me. They had won the state championship the year that they had won. I'm pretty sure they won the state. They either got first or second, but right before I got there. So then I stepped in and we went to state my first year there. And I think having that experience as a freshman is, just sets you up for success and gives you kind of a leg up going into your sophomore year, even though they had all graduated. I had been there. I felt like I kind of knew what it took. And so, a lot of talent above me when I was a freshman in high school.
Do you remember, rivalries as you look back throughout your high school career, not just your freshman year, but obviously that talented group you had as a freshman, and then you got to step in and take more of a prominent role your sophomore through senior year. What were some of those rivalries? Friendly rivalries. Teams that you enjoyed playing against, or individual players maybe that you look forward to playing because you knew you were going to get their best effort.
Yeah. Man, I'm sure we had some ones I'm not thinking of off the top of my head. My mind instantly goes to just playing Carthage because they had some girls they knocked us out my sophomore year. We lost to them in I want to say district championship. And I'll never forget. There's pictures after me after that game, just like I thought it ended my whole life. And so just coming back and competing against them every year just kind of fueled me in a very competitive way. But they had some Chloe Shepard, Vanessa Pollock, some girls that just you knew they were going to come out and play. which I always was, just hungry for that opportunity. Obviously, the Springfield schools always gave us a run. I mean, playing against Hannacook, playing against Nixa, playing against Republic always gave us a game. I mean, in our conference, I remember like just being a part of the COC, you felt like same thing as college, being a part of the MIAA, like you had to come and bring it every night. It was a tough conference. So, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, over 1,500 points in high school. Do you remember your first basket?
Do I remember my first basket? I remember the first time I was gonna suit up for varsity. It was at Nixa, and he told me I was gonna suit up for varsity. So he was limiting my JV quarters, and I was like, no, I still want to play JV because I was like, I'm just gonna go sit varsity. I want to play. Like, I want the JV minutes. And so Walter Risa was my coach at the time. And so he played me 2 quarters of JV. I had 28 points in those 2 quarters and then played varsity. I didn't think I would get a minute of time, really, but I don't know if we were winning. I don't know what the situation was, but I remember having 15 or something points in the varsity game. And just, I felt like it was funny being a part of like my freshman year, both years. It felt like I could just get shots that I could never get again my sophomore, junior, senior year. I used to just be able to dribble down and shoot it if I wanted to. Like, I didn't have anybody near me. So it's always funny, like looking back and being like, it was like freshman year in high school and college. It was like, no one knows you yet. Like, spot up and get shot off. Like, just kind of a sweet little time period to not have to create your shot as much because nobody really knows who you are or what you can do with the basketball. So,
If you could get in a time machine and go back and play, 1 or 2 or 3 games over in high school, and it's probably games that got away from you.
yeah.
Like, hey, we might, if I'd have played better, we may have won that game. Are there games you look at that you remember thinking, man, we should have won that game? I'd like to go play that again.
Oh man, I feel that way. About some college games. I don't know if memories have just gotten away from me. There's some losses that I would go back and give them another good shot at it. But I'm trying to think. I wouldn't go play Incarnate Word again. I'd let them have that one. I'd let them have that one. But I don't know. I think just going back and I would love to just watch more of those games back then. And I'm sure that I have the film somewhere, but I was talking to my dad about that the other day. Like, just going back and watching myself, I bet I would be like, man, I was horrible. I just wasn't as good as I thought I was. But I don't know. High school memories they're a little dusty right now, but I would love to go back and watch them.
Again, we're visiting with 2014 Webb City graduate Mikaela Burgess, and you look the same. You haven't aged. I can remember sitting there at Branson at the Gerald Pills All-Star game, and I think I got to visit with you 2 or 3 times during that because you would come in and out of the game, and whoever was coaching would just send ladies down from both benches to come on the show with us. But those memories stand out to me. If you could get in a time machine and go back to that 7th or 8th grade Mikaela Burgess and give her some advice based on what you know now, you're 10 years removed from high school, what advice would you go back and give that young Mikaela Burgess before she got to high school based on what you know not right now as an adult?
I think one of my biggest regrets, if you want to call it that, looking back on my athletic career, was just always kind of worrying on whose toes I was going to step on if I stepped on the court and competed and gave it everything. Girls are a little different than probably playing against a squad of boys, but sometimes, you worry about feelings or this and that, or how our seniors going to feel if I come in and, and compete or win or whatever. And then that same kind of mindset always carried kind of throughout my college career. Like, I just always wanted everyone to like have their moment. And then I still would have been that same respectful kid, but I just would have told that younger version of me, just like, go play. Don't worry about how anyone else is going to perceive it or whatever, who cares? Go play basketball, enjoy it. You're only going to get to do it for so long. So, just go compete and stop worrying about all that other stuff. But I mean, I look back and I know there's a lot of, so many good memories. So it's hard to say that there's anything I really would have changed or done differently. I think I had great mentors around me that pulled the best out of me. So probably just would have told her to ride the bus home instead of riding with my dad on the way home. So
what motivated you, or that maybe a person, it may be family. You've mentioned your dad 2 or 3 times in this interview. I know your brother Tyler.
yeah.
What or who motivated Mikaela Burgess to get out of bed every day and give her the best shot?
Yeah, I was talking to my boyfriend about that the other day, just because athletes now, they don't, and I'm not looking, and I'm taking an overall assessment, so I know there's kids out there that are different, but I feel like they're not as intrinsically motivated as I would say I was, in my high school collegiate career. But they need coaches, they need trainers, they need 5 people telling them how to do it and what to do. And I feel like and I feel like my parents, my mom instilled that grit in me. Like, you want to do something, you're going to work at it. You're going to go try to be the best you can be at it. So I definitely have my parents to thank, my brother for dogging me in the driveway. He couldn't now, for the record. Let's make sure we get that on air. He could not beat me. We haven't played in probably 12 years because he knows there's nothing he can do. But yeah, just coaches. I had coaches. I had my parents who pulled it out of me, but I do feel like there was something just like in me that was like, no one had to tell me to compete. No one had to tell me to work hard. Like, I was going to go out there and try to be like the best that I could be. I was going to compete in drills that coaches wanted to be fun. By the end of it, they were going to be like, that wasn't even fun, Mikaela, because you had to make it competitive. But I don't know. I think I wish the athlete, just in my coaching experience, I've coached at the high school level, I've coached at the collegiate level. And that's just what I try to instill in girls, is like, no one needs to pull it out of you. Like, pull it out of yourself, because one day you're going to work a job and no one's going to hold your hand. They're not going to show up in your cubicle every day and give you a pump up speech. Like, go be that for yourself. Go motivate yourself. And so I don't know. I just think that has served me well in life, just having a little bit of that intrinsic motivation.
So you graduate high school, you make the decision to attend college, and what was that decision? What was that based on? Was it geographic?
Yeah, it was based on how close Mama Burgess was. I couldn't go too far away from her. And I gave a verbal to them my sophomore year. I can't remember if I think it was going into my sophomore year. And I was just obsessed with the idea of staying close to home. I wanted my grandparents at games. I wanted family at games, which my dad logged how many miles they traveled throughout my college career, down to the mile, flights, drives, everything. They never missed anything. So I could have gone anywhere, I guess, but I think it paid off. Staying close to home just gave me that. I loved Pitt State. Loved just the college town, the way that everyone pours into you, shows up at games. It was an easy decision for me. I mean, met Coach Lord, met Coach David. They invested in me quick, and then I really just hit the ground running and never looked back or weighed any other options.
I know Kent's got a few college questions for you. Go ahead, Kent.
Well, just tell us a little bit more about that transition from high school basketball to college basketball from a coaching standpoint, from being coached by different coaches, having different players around you, just different type of basketball. Just tell us a little bit about that transition.
Yeah. Coach, I think everybody, if you lined them all up, everybody who's ever coached me would tell the same story. I think they would say they loved me with a smirk on their face and know that there was a lot of challenges behind that smile. I can look back in high school and being coached by Brad Shorter, and I remember we used to go at it on the sidelines, and hug it out after, but we would speak our minds. And then same thing, transitioning into playing for Coach Lord at Pitt State. We knew how to challenge each other. And in multiple meetings with him, I think it was just an adjustment period for me, playing for someone new, playing for someone who maybe, hadn't coached anybody quite like, my personality before. And, my personality wasn't small on the basketball floor. So he had his work cut out for him, bless his heart. But I think you just come in as a freshman, and I was eager to play. I didn't want a red shirt. I wanted every opportunity I could have. And so I think I just put a lot of pressure on, him to like make decisions or, do different things. But it's just hilarious to us now to look back and like analyze our relationship from freshman year to senior year. And I told him, you hear about coaches challenging players all the time. You don't always hear about players challenging coaches. So, we laugh about it now, but I think that was probably just the biggest adjustment for me, was like learning to play for someone new, and going from being a senior and, being the center of your team to being the freshman, and you have a lot of talent above you, which I loved, competing with girls that, dominated like that and knew the league already and all those things. So, but it was still an adjustment for sure.
Well, and you had a lot of personal success at both levels, but you had a lot of team success also. You didn't ever have a team in college where you lost 10 games, and that's a good team record. And I believe as a sophomore, you got to the Elite Eight. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us a little bit about that postseason run?
Yeah, it was, still memories that I hold on to. I'll always hold on to them. But like you said, talented teammates. So shout out to my coaches for recruiting the right talent. But yeah, we were just led well by, and again, it stemmed from that class that we had my freshman year, I think, for all of us. We had a talented group of sophomores and seniors too, but that my freshman year, those seniors, we didn't have the success that we should have, I think. But I think that was the most talented team I've ever played on, my freshman year of college. And I think they led the way and gave us the experience and leadership to know what to do. So we stepped in, that following year, and I feel like kind of just like reached the potential that team had my freshman year that we didn't get to see. But yeah, it was incredible. We got to play in front of our home crowd, pack it out. And it was just so cool. There's videos and memories that I'll go back and watch and just be reminded of, just like seriously how cool it was to see the community rally around our team, and how excited they were for us. And we got to, just every step of the way, how we got there, the teams that we beat to get there, couldn't have written the script any better. Super, super cool experience.
Well, that's fun. And you described the transition from high school to college, but then you also had another transition to being a part of a college basketball team, and being on the sidelines, but unable to go into a game because you spent a year as a grad assistant and then a year as an assistant coach. Tell us about those 2 years, what that was like. You're not playing anymore, but you're helping the younger ones out there on the court. What's that like?
Yeah, it was, I think in God's timing, he truly orchestrated that whole thing, because my plan was to be a grad assistant the year I graduated college in 2018. And so my plan was to go right to being a grad assistant. And I think God knew that wasn't the best fit for me. Basketball, the way it ended, kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. And I was just like, no, I'm going to step away from it. And then a few years later, reached out to Coach David, was the head coach, and, got under her wing and took that opportunity to be a grad assistant. And what a cool thing, just to like jump back in and see girls who are right where I was a few years ago, but have this whole new perspective on, what matters, what doesn't, what you should be doing, what you need somebody to tell you to stop doing. And I felt like we had such a unique relationship, because they really connected with me, because they knew I just did it. And so, I could tell them, I just did this. I just made these mistakes, and you can keep making them, or you can listen to me and you can skip the step where you do it wrong or but I learned from them too. Like, I mean, it was a great experience of just building relationships. Like I said, the people are what you remember. Every team you're a part of, it's not really about the wins and losses as much as it's just the people you connect with. And I got to build some really cool relationships with the girls that I loved and still keep up with them now. So it was a very, very awesome experience.
And my last question is, if talking to high school girls who want to play in college, and if you're limited to just one thing to tell them to put them in better stead to achieve that dream of theirs, what would that one thing be that you would tell them?
Don't ever expect anyone to coach your effort. Go bring that every time you go play, bring effort and your competitive drive and let everything else work out. But if a coach is ever coaching your effort, then hang them up. Hang them up. You don't need to lace them anymore. I mean, just because I think you're wasting your time. If you don't have it inside of you, then you're not going to like it. You're not going to be happy at the college level. You just got a long road ahead of you if you're not willing to coach yourself in that category.
Mikaela, and again, we're visiting with 2014 Webb City graduate Mikaela Burgess here on the Missouri Milestones, the podcast. Tell the folks a little bit about what you're doing now and what led to that situation, and if people wanted to reach out to you, you've got a business, and what are you doing now?
I own a preschool, the Plaid Drive Preschool in Webb City. Again, God orchestrated. I graduated college, and it quite literally fell in my lap. Just blessed and humbled all the way through of how it's all worked out. But this is getting ready to start my 7th school year, and I have right under 100 kids enrolled. So yeah, it's awesome. Every day is different. Every day is chaotic and energetic and filled with just a ton of moments that make me love my job. But truly, I just love it. Again, you get to invest in people. You get to just feel like you're providing something to the community that is, I mean, when you're working with their people's kids, what's more valuable than that?
What kind of basketball talent do you have in the preschool level?
We're getting there. We're getting there. We start with 1 ball first semester, and then we get to 2 ball dribbling in second semester. No, just kidding. But we have a basketball gym where we do recess in it, and I'll get out there, and it'll blow their mind if I can make it from anywhere. So very easily impressed, but does good things for me when I get out. If I'm having a bad day, just go let them cheer me on while I make layups or something. So yeah, it's a very, very fun, extremely passionate just about education and kids in general. But again, I just feel like God has handed me an opportunity to be a blessing and pour back into the community, and just very cool and very honored to be part of it.
Very good. Well, Mikaela, I will tell you, coming up here later on today, we'll be interviewing Addie Roller.
Mm-hmm.
You're very familiar with Addie and her family, and coached with her and played for her. Tell us a little bit about Addie, and I must tell you now, she's going to get the last word on this.
Addie and I are very, very similar, very hard-headed, very competitive. I'd be interesting to hear her perspective on coaching, what it was like coaching me. But she can't talk too much because I know what it was like to coach her. I've heard stories about that. So don't let her talk for too long about what that was like. No, Addie's great. Great friendship, lifelong friend in Addie. So that'll be a great interview for you guys.
All right. Well, Mikaela, never disappointed when I get with you. It's and again, that goes back to those Gerald Pills All-Star games. It was the first time that I got to visit with you and Coach Brad Shorter, who you've mentioned. He and I are pretty close, and I think that's how I got your number. So I'm sure you still stay in contact with Coach Shorter as well. But Addie, it's been a pleasure and always has been. Congratulations on being part of the Missouri Milestones, the podcast. There's no dues. You don't have to pay to be a part of it. There's no secret handshakes. You've already done your work, and God bless you. And I've really enjoyed this conversation.
Yeah, I appreciate your guys' time so much. Thanks for thinking of me.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're watching the Missouri Sports Network at MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol remind us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow.